Having previewed the paper review, we're going to pause and come back to it. Mel Stride is making his 6th appearance on Breakfast since the election has been announced. He is the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions. Good to see you again. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Where to start on this ongoing scandal relating to gambling, and now one of your cabinet colleagues involved in all of this. Why did it take Rishi Sunak so long to suspend those 2 candidates?
OK, so I think you're dealing with 2 separate things here, if I could classify like that. You've got Alistair Jack, who has made it very clear in his statements yesterday that he did not place any bets during May, which is the period that the Gambling Commission is interested in and looking at, and that he has not contravened any of the gambling rules. But in the case of the suspension of others, look, I think it was absolutely right that the party made internal inquiries and has now come to a very clear conclusion, which is that those candidates are suspended. They will not be supported by the Conservative Party during this general election. And if indeed in the course of time they or any others who are candidates are found to have broken the rules in relation to betting, then they will actually be removed from the Conservative Party. So I think the Prime Minister has been very, very clear. He's very angry about what has happened. I am deeply disappointed about a number of the things that have happened here as well, and that is why action is being taken.
Sir Keir Starmer showed you guys up, though, didn't he? The way he dealt very swiftly with a lesser allegation, frankly.
Well, the allegation in the case of Labour, and it's for them to determine what they do, was that they had a candidate who was actually betting against himself in an election that he is currently fighting. But as I say, you know, these things can take a little bit of time to look at and to make sure that we get them right. But internal inquiries have been conducted. The Prime Minister has been very clear as to the consequences if the Gambling Commission finds against individuals. They will be removed promptly from the Conservative Party. And in the meantime, those candidates are not supported by the Conservative Party in this general election.
And the public would 100%, I think, agree with that. There's a sense of disgust at the sort of insider trading allegations that are doing the rounds. But I want to pick up on what you said about Alistair Jack. I mean, yes, he's not involved in any insider trading allegations, but what's your personal view about somebody in a very serious role at a very serious time for this country, placing not 1, not 2, but 3 bets on the future of our country? Do you think that's appropriate, and do you think that he should face any further consequences?
So I think you've got insider information, which is clearly utterly wrong, and that is what the Gambling Commission is looking at the moment. And then you've got this broader issue that you've raised about should politicians ever gamble on anything that is political at any point, even if they clearly do not have any more information than is available to the general public. And I think that is a wider debate that probably these instances is going to surface down. I think it's an important debate for us to have. But as I say, as regards Alistair Jack, he has made it very clear that he has not used inside information. He didn't place any bets during May, which is the period that the inquiry is focusing on.
I'm asking you to have that debate. What's your own view? Was it appropriate, and is it appropriate for senior politicians to be gambling on the future of the country?
So that is a very broad question, and it covers everything from, say, somebody today gambling on what the result of an election might be in 10 years' time would be very different from somebody nearer the time gambling on an outcome around similar circumstances. So I just think it's one of those things that probably needs further debate as a more general point. But there's no getting away from the fact that it is utterly wrong if people are using any inside information in this context. Gambling on the general election. The Prime Minister very angry about it, very clear about it, and we've taken very decisive action on it.
Mel, I wonder just how angry the Prime Minister is, or yourself, or the government in general, about what's going on with the French authorities. Yesterday on our breakfast show, we had Nigel Farage. He was in the English Channel, and there on camera we could see it happening. There is a French migrant dinghy and boats, and a migrant boat, and the French authorities escort it to the English coastline. Should we be paying them to do that, or one would have thought they identify the boat and they say, right, turn around, back to France now? Well, what's your view on that?
So I think the cooperation with the French is very important, and we mustn't overlook the many thousands of crossings, of course, that they do prevent, and that is extremely helpful. What we also know, though, Eamon, from Calais is that, and the Telegraph have reported extensively on this, is that there are a very large number of would-be illegal migrants intent on coming to our shores who are simply waiting for July the 4th and the general election so that the Rwanda situation is finished by Labour, is scrapped before they come over. And that clearly shows that Rwanda is the deterrent. And this is the big point here, is that if we have a deterrent for people coming across, that breaks the model that the gangs are operating. It means that you will be swiftly removed when you arrive on our shores illegally, and that will start to bring the numbers down, just as it did with the Albania deal, where the returns deal saw over 90% of Albanians just stop coming altogether. And that's what Labour are going to destroy that, and it will be an open door under Labour after July the 4th. That's what
If I held a government post now, if I was in cabinet or whatever, I think I would be picking up the phone this morning and phoning the French authorities and say, "Oi, alors, zut alors. What's all this business? What were you taking these migrants across in these dinghies? Why are you escorting them to our country when you should have been turning back with them?" It seems to be that this is just standard practice.
Well, you're focusing, you're making those comments, Eamon, with great respect on the basis of a single incident that's appeared in the media. The point that I'm making is that I do think there is a lot of value in the arrangements we have with the French, because it has stopped many, many thousands coming to our shores because of that cooperation, the money we've invested, the drones we provide, the intelligence we share, and so on. But the bigger picture has got to be about deterrence. And there are migrants in Calais at the moment ready to come over, waiting for a Labour government. When they get a Labour government, that's when they'll come. And why will they do that? Because they know that the Labour government will be scrapping Rwanda, will be scrapping the deterrent, and we will see a huge surge in the number of migrants coming.
Just lastly, I want to ask you about this row between Kemi Badenoch, your other cabinet colleague, and David Tennant. He was picking up an LGBTQ plus award last night, and he said he wished she didn't exist. And she's hit back saying he will not shut her up. What do you make of his comments?
That's the actor.
Doctor Who?
Well, I think anybody who says of anybody else, and I don't care what political party they're from or what axe they have to grind, that says somebody else should not exist is regrettable.
Very well. OK, Mel Stride, thanks very much, Secretary of State for Work and Pensions.